Our Marlins are back in the postseason. Coming off a disappointing NLDS exit last year, we look to respond here in season number 8, awaiting the winner of the wild card round between the Dodgers and the Pirates. In the last episode, we went through the second half of the regular season here in 2030, and this season was a big success for us, going 108-54, our first time with triple-digit wins in this series, grabbing the number 1 overall seed in the National League, and doing so convincingly 12 games above second place. Our most dominant regular season from head to toe. We started the year off strong, and we really did not look back. We had a number of guys play well, but nobody's performance was more notable than that of veteran outfielder Bryan De La Cruz, who's been a solid player for us the entire series, but seemingly out of nowhere, he had an MVP season, winning the award after coming into the year as a 33-year-old one-time All-Star. He led the league in batting average, on base, slugging, home runs, and I think he was third in the NL in RBIs. Quite the season from him, kind of out of nowhere, but also in a sense not really, because he was great last year after he came back from the injury. But even so, I did not expect this at all. Edward Cabrera won his 4th consecutive Cy Young, tying Roger Clemens for the most ever. Robbie Jones, interestingly, finished in second, with other strong seasons from guys like Woody Landry, Jesus Sanchez, Jazz Chisholm, and rookie pitcher Geronimo Gonzalez, who won the National League Rookie of the Year. Real quickly, I do want to go through the Major League studs and duds of the year. We'll do the minor leagues once we get out of the playoffs into the offseason. Obviously, we're going to start with Bryan De La Cruz. This is a no-brainer. For the shorter seasons, I've been doing +1 and -1, but I feel like for De La Cruz, it's only fair that we give him the full +3 boost, because the guy won the MVP, for Christ's sakes. He was the best offensive player in Major League Baseball this year, which came out of nowhere. This was a one-time All-Star. His only All-Star appearance was in 2024. It's not even like it was recent. So he's now a 95 overall. Who would have seen that coming a couple years ago? James Wood will be our second stud of the year. We gave him the big extension as he has really broken out onto the scene. Career bests in every major offensive category with a WAR of 5.2. His improvement has been key for us this year, and because of that, he'll go up by 1, now an 89 overall. I thought about a few guys for the last spot. Jesus Sanchez was great the first half of the year, but slowed down a little bit afterwards. Geronimo Gonzalez won the Rookie of the Year. His season kind of came out of nowhere for me, but I could have never expected Robbie Jones to finish in second for the NL Cy Young. Now, he doesn't have the best of stats across the board, only a 1.7 WAR. That's because he's not a strikeout guy, but he doesn't need to be. Super low ERA, super low whip. He's going to be our last one and going up by 1. As for our 3 dud of the years, we'll start with Kevin Alcantara. This has kind of been 2 years in the making. He was really good in 2028, our World Series year. We gave him the contract extension, and the plan was for him to be our best outfielder of the future, but Jesus Sanchez has continued to be good. Bryan De La Cruz has turned into an MVP out of nowhere, and James Wood has broken out, making Alcantara our 4th outfielder. Ariel Amador will be the second player here. He only had around 100 at-bats, but it's not like he played well. I will say, at least he made it through the season healthy. 2029 ended the year with a season-ending injury. 2028 ended the year with a season-ending injury. 2027, season-ending injury. You get the theme. So at least he stayed healthy, I guess. And then Casey Mize is going to be the last one. He wasn't necessarily bad, per se. His numbers overall have been consistent over the last 3 years, but I feel like on a game-to-game basis, he really is not consistent at all. You're going to get great 8 scoreless innings performances out of him, and you're going to have games where he goes 3 innings and allows 6. We do have to update the postseason roster. We're going to send down 3 guys, including Ariel Amador, along with Ziggy Zidane and Tobias Starr. So this will be the 26 we roll with, at least for the NLDS. And the question is, who are we going to go against, Pittsburgh or LA? The Dodgers win Game 1, the Pirates win Game 2, and the Dodgers win Game 3. They will be our opponent. We played against them back in our very first NLDS, which would have been back in Season 4, I think. And we haven't played against them in the playoffs since. They still have some of their core remaining, such as O'Neal Cruz, who's won 2 MVPs in this series. And you can make the argument he should have won it this year. His defense significantly improved, WAR of 8.3. Obviously, I'm going to push the Brian De La Cruz agenda, but O'Neal Cruz's numbers were right there. Shohei Ohtani has regressed quite a bit, but he is still Shohei Ohtani, still a phenomenal pitcher and hitter. They still have some talented young guys who they started with in the series, and they have some former Marlins as well, such as Luis Rengifo, who's been here the last 2 years. Luis Matzos, remember him? He was also a former Marlin, traded away back in Season 2, I think in the Jorge Soler trade. And then pitching-wise, another former Marlin, Jesus Luzardo, will get the start here in Game 1. He's been pretty much the same guy over the last 4 years that he was with us. And of course, Ohtani leads the rotation along with Ramirez, Pepio, and Pearson. And the bullpen is pretty solid with plenty of more familiar faces, including another former Marlin, Adonis Takadopoulos. And since we've traded him away, he's become one of the best relievers in baseball. I don't regret trading him away because we got MJ Melendez in that deal, who's been awesome for us over the last 3 years. But clearly, we undervalued Takadopoulos, who won the National League Reliever of the Year this season with the Dodgers after making his first All-Star game. And he's been great with the Dodgers for a couple years in a row after being acquired from the Orioles. So let's get this show on the road. We'll be going through the entirety of the NLDS today, and we're going to be doing a lot of simcasting, or I guess as it's called in MLB The Show, quick managing. And that includes here in Game 1. But we're going to hop in the big moments, in the big games, as of course, the 4-time Cy Young winner, Edward Cabrera, will get the start. Probably his worst of the Cy Young seasons, but still really good. So he will look to start things off. Last year in the first game of the NLDS, I think he allowed 4 runs in the first inning. Thankfully, that does not happen here. Let's see what we can do off of Luzardo in the bottom of the first as Jazz Chisholm rips a double. And the MVP, Brian De La Cruz, drives him in to put the Marlins ahead 1-0. Can they get De La Cruz in? They don't. And then the Dodgers tie it at 1. A solo homer to start the second by Ohtani. And look at this. Cabrera's taken out of the game for Matthew Liberatore. So, obviously, it was not our decision to take Cabrera out of the game, which means only one thing. Edward Cabrera got injured. That's not good at all. And if it's a serious injury, that could change everything for our potential playoff run. And Liberatore is going to have to go the rest of the way as Cabrera gets hurt, allowing the home run to Ohtani. James Outman draws a walk and steals a base. He's in scoring position, and the Dodgers do not drive him in as we go bottom 2. Jesus Sanchez leads things off with a hit. James Wood draws a walk. Peter Gillis drives him in, and it's 2-1 Marlins. The offense looking good early as we go in the third. Good inning for Liberatore. Bottom 3, Luzardo retires the side, and now both pitchers are starting to look better after, especially for us, our offense really got rolling early, but now we get 2 more base runners, another hit for Sanchez, and a walk for Berry, and they'll both be driven in by MJ Melendez with a 2-run double, making it 4-1. Big swing for Melendez at the top of the order. Got to imagine the Dodgers are considering going to the bullpen soon as Jazz Chisholm draws a walk. Brian De La Cruz drives in a run. It's now 5-1. Woody Landry drives in a run. It's now 6-1. And finally, Luzardo's yanked out of the game for Carlos Hernandez, who gets out of the inning. 3 2/3 innings for Luzardo. He allows 6. The Marlins turn a double play as Jesus Sanchez gets a double to start the bottom of the 5th. And then he's replaced by a pinch runner, Vidal Brujan. Again, I didn't choose for Brujan to come into the game. That means only one thing. Jesus Sanchez got hurt. So we've had 2 guys, 2 of our most important players, get injured today, which is really not good. Liberatore is going to be taken out of the game. He did a tremendous job and will be replaced by Andres Vina, who gets through the inning pretty easily. Still 6-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Another hit for MJ Melendez. De La Cruz draws a walk. Our MVP is looking pretty good here in his first playoff game as the MVP. Isaac Stu drives both runners in with a 2-run double, and it's now 8-1. A total blowout here. We're going to look to make things move a little bit quicker here as a runner is thrown out going home. It remains 8-1 here in the bottom of the 7th. Gillis gets hit by pitch, unable to do any damage with him. Into the 8th. Kent with a double. From there, we're going to make a pitching change. We don't want any funny business. We're going to use some of our back-end relievers, and Adolfo Jimenez allows a home run to O'Neal Cruz. Not ideal. It's 8-3 going into the bottom of the 8th. Justin Bruhill will pitch for the Dodgers. He gets through the inning pretty easily despite a De La Cruz walk. We're going to bring Joe Shearer in now for the 9th, and he retires the side. The Marlins win Game 1 by the score of 8-3. I think the big reason why we lost in the NLDS last year was because of that game one against the Mets, where we fell flat on our face. Today, the offense shows up, and despite Edward Cabrera getting hurt in the second inning, the pitching was pretty good. Got to give Matthew Liberatore a ton of credit for coming out of the bullpen completely unprepared, and he pitched a great game as he ends up getting the win. Obviously, there is some concern not just with Cabrera, but also Jesus Sanchez. Again, two of our best players. Our ace and Cy Young winner, along with one of the key cogs in the lineup, who are injured. The Dodgers' offense wasn't all that impressive today, minus the stars, Ohtani and O'Neal Cruz. Our offense was great, though. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs for Melendez. Jesus Sanchez, 3 for 3, 2 runs. Brian De La Cruz was super impressive, 2 for 3, 2 walks, 2 RBIs. Talk about an MVP-level performance. Cabrera allowed the homer before he got hurt, but Liberatore did a great job, and the bullpen, they were pretty good as well. So Edward Cabrera strained his bicep, not a serious injury. Jesus Sanchez, knee inflammation, again, nothing serious. Cabrera should be able to return for his next start, so I'm really not worried about him. Jesus Sanchez might miss a couple of games, which is a pretty big deal considering you need all the wins you can get in the MLB playoffs. So that'll bring us into Game 2. We're not going to start Casey Mize. We're going to go with Robbie Jones, who obviously finished in second for the Cy Young. He's basically the official number 2 starter now, and thus I want to address him as such. And he will get the start today against the Dodgers. Big Game 2 here. The Dodgers know they cannot fall down 2-0. But the Marlins are coming into this one a little bit shorthanded with Jesus Sanchez not in the lineup today. Having 4 really good outfielders, though, is very prevalent at this time because we have Kevin Alcantara, who is on the bench and healthy, and he'll be the third outfielder, joining De La Cruz and Wood until Jesus Sanchez is healthy, which hopefully is later here in this series against the Dodgers. So here's Robbie Jones, who in 32 starts went 24-5. I know win-loss record isn't that big of a deal, but goddamn, that's a lot of wins. 3.23 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. Only 119 strikeouts, though. He's not a strikeout guy, but he hasn't needed to be. So let's see what he can do here as he allows an early hit to Herbert Kent and Miguel Vargas. Not a great start. Defensive substitution. Somebody got hurt again. We'll find out in the bottom of the first as Kelenic draws a walk. Bases loaded. Ohtani strikes out. The following batter does as well. So first thing I do here after we get out of the bases loaded jam is look at the lineup. Who's not in there? And of course, it's Brian De La Cruz. He'll be replaced by Esteury Ruiz, but ouch. What a potential disaster for us. The MVP, Brian De La Cruz, out for the game. Ruiz draws a walk, but immediately is out on a fielder's choice. We get 2 guys on, are unable to score as the Dodgers quickly get 1 in the bottom of the second, driving in a Ryan McMahon triple with a Luis Torrens single, and then 2 runners are scored from a Miguel Vargas single, and the Dodgers lead 3-0 just like that. Not ideal. Robbie Jones does get through the inning there. In the meanwhile, Nate Pearson's doing a great job. He does allow a pair of hits to Ruiz and Landry, looking to get out of the inning against MJ Melendez now, the catcher. And we're going to hop in the game here. I feel like this is a really important at-bat, and he ultimately grounds out to second. I will say, though, I got to give credit to Esteury Ruiz coming in, reaching base twice in his first 2 at-bats today, replacing Brian De La Cruz from injury, but it hasn't resulted in any runs yet for the offense. As we move into the fourth, Robbie Jones still in the game. He's looking a lot better, but so far the offense has not been able to carry the momentum from Game 1, and I think that's largely because of the injury. So Robbie Jones allows a couple of walks and a single to Jared Kelenic, and we're going to take him out of the game. Just not a great all-around start from him. Luckily, Joe Shearer gets us out of the inning unscathed as it remains 3-0. Shearer now allows a couple base runners, but he gets out of it. And then in the bottom of the 6th, Isaac Stu rips a 2-run homer to yank Pearson out of the game as it's 3-2. James Wood with a double. Can we drive him in with Jacob Berry? I think this is another spot for us to hop in. He's ahead in the count, 3-1 here with 2 away. Ooh, that pitch looked like it was out of the strike zone. It was right on the edge. They ultimately will call it a strike 2. Count is now full for the third baseman, Berry. Back-to-back 4 WAR seasons as he strikes out on the low cutter. Very good inning, though. The Marlins get 2 with a Woody Landry single, and he's driven in with a 2-run shot by Isaac Stu. The lefty, Taylor Hearn, is into the game here in the 7th. A lot of lefties due up for the Dodgers as we turn 2. Bottom 7, Eli Morgan in the game. He retires beside. Into the 8th. Into the game for The previous pitcher, Hearn, will be Camilo Duvall, looking to get through the inning as he allows a single to Luis Torrens and Lane Thomas. And we're actually going to make a pitching change. We're going to bring in Emmanuel Clase early. We want to put our best foot forward here, bring our best pitcher in the game here, and they would have a runner caught stealing. Okay. So it remains 3-2. Guardians franchise legend Alex Vesia is in here in the bottom of the 8th as he allows a hit to Landry and a walk to Melendez with one away. It's Kevin Alcantara up. And again, we're going to hop in here. Gigantic at bat for Alcantara, looking to make his stamp on the NLDS. Rips it into the gap and right. One hops off the wall. Landry scores. Melendez looks to score as well. It's going to be close. He's out of there. So the Dodgers gun him down, but it is still an RBI double for Alcantara to tie the game. 2 outs. Alcantara at second for James Wood. Bloops it over to third. It's caught. The Marlins do get a run here with an RBI double by Kevin Alcantara, and we are knotted up going into the 9th. Emmanuel Clase will stay in the game. They'll face off against the top of the order. That starts with Herbert Kent, who draws a walk. And the Dodgers start the inning with a base runner. One away for O'Neal Cruz, who pummels this ball into right. That one is gone. And the Dodgers lead it 5-3. O'Neal Cruz with his second home run of the NLDS, second in as many games. And Los Angeles leads at 5-3. Kelenic now up the middle, base hit. The Dodgers offense looking great here in the 9th inning against Emmanuel Clase. So much so that he will be yanked out of the game and replaced by Adolfo Jimenez, who allowed a home run in the previous game to, again, O'Neal Cruz. So hopefully this outing for him goes a lot better. Already a runner aboard here, 2 away for James Outman, and he strikes out on the Vulcan change. So Jimenez gets through the inning, but the Dodgers scored 2, and they're going to turn it to the closer, the submarine throwing lefty Adonis Takadopoulos, who hasn't been all that good so far in the postseason, but he's been tremendous in the regular season. And as we know with him, he's got some interesting pitches, including the signature knuckleball, as he strikes out Vidal Brujan on the sinker. The thing with Takadopoulos' off-speed stuff is when the sinker comes in, you're not really expecting something that fast. 1-2 for Chisholm. Swing and a miss on the slurve, and that'll do it. The Dodgers tie the NLDS up at 1. They win this game by the final score of 5-3. And again, medical concern for the Marlins. This time it's the MVP, Brian De La Cruz, who got injured defensively in the first inning and was thus subsequently taken out of the game. O'Neal Cruz with another homer. Vargas drives in 2. Torrens drove in the other run. Nate Person was pretty solid, and the bullpen did a good job for the Dodgers. Our offense was just kind of bleh. We did have some guys play well. 3 hits for Woody Landry. Isaac Stu with the 2-run homer. Robbie Jones really was not all that good, and then the bullpen was really good until Clase kind of blew the game there at the end. So Brian De La Cruz broke his forearm and will probably be out for the rest of the playoffs. Not good at all. The MVP winner is done for the year on the shelf just like that. So we've had 3 injuries here in the first 2 games, and De La Cruz, who has been our best player this year, is done for the rest of the year. Ariel Amador will get his spot back on the roster as that brings us into Game 3. No more Brian De La Cruz. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We're going to have Jesus Sanchez play through the injury. Outfield has been our specialty. I feel like we've had too many outfielders, but we only had 2 true outfielders who were healthy going into this game. So Sanchez is going to tough it up, and he's going to be in the lineup. Sanchez was really good in the first game, going 3 for 3 before he got injured. Sanchez is a noted playoff performer, so hopefully he continues that as he looks to replace another very notable playoff performer in Brian De La Cruz, who also was really good in Game 1 before getting injured. And with the loss of De La Cruz and Sanchez, the offense was very clearly different in that second game. Shohei Ohtani is going to be on the mound. He'll go up against Tyrell Berry for the Marlins as Woody Landry reaches off of an error. Can we do anything with him? Isaac Stu gets a walk. That'll bring up Jesus Sanchez, who drives on a run with a base hit. No knee, no problem. Melendez walks and the bases are loaded. And guess what? The clip for James Woods at bat didn't save. You can take a guess at what happened. as it's 1-0 going into the bottom of the first, and Tyrell Berry gets the start here for the Marlins. I'm pretty sure James Wood ended up flying out to left. Again, I apologize, it didn't save. So let's see what Tyrell Berry can do. He looked pretty solid in the playoffs last year as he retires to the side. Into the second inning, Khalil Watson reaches base. Jazz Chisholm draws a walk. Ohtani cannot find the strike zone. He's only allowed 2 hits, but we've gotten a ton of base runners off of walks today. Isaac Stu with a double, and Jesus Sanchez hits a 2-run blast to make it 3-0. Again, Jesus Sanchez is hurt, and he's driven in all 3 runs today. Tyrell Berry, meanwhile, is pitching really well. A no-hitter through the first 3 innings as Kevin Alcantara goes deep. It's 4-0. Chisholm with a double. Landry with a single. Stu with a single. Ohtani's out of the game. Sanchez with a single. It's 6-0. The offense is exploding right now as the Dodgers get out of the inning. Bottom 4. Berry's still cooking. He allows a double to Cruz. First hit of the game for the Dodgers, but nothing more. Similar to Game 1, this is looking like an all-out blowout. James Outman homers here to put the Dodgers on the board. Luis Torrens with a double. Dodgers get a run off of a sac fly, and it's 6-2. As Stu reaches off of another error, and we don't do anything with him. Berry's going to stay in the game in the bottom of the 6th. He retires to the side. As we get another homer, this time it's Jacob Berry in the 7th, and it's 7-2. Going into the bottom of the 7th, we're going to take Berry out of the game. Really strong performance from him. He'll be replaced by Andres Vina. Into the 8th, Brewhill in the game, gets through the inning. Vina's hopefully going to look to make it the rest of the way as he gets through the 8th, scoreless. Into the 9th, Eli Morgan now in for the Dodgers. He gets through the inning. We're going to take Andres Vina out, bring in Camilo Duvall, and it looks like he'll get the job done, retires beside. And the Marlins win this one pretty stress-free, 7-2. No injuries today, thank goodness. And more importantly, a big win, another great showing by the offense. Jesus Sanchez was definitely the X factor, driving in 4 runs with 3 hits, doing it basically on one leg, which is absurdly impressive. Way to not only tough it out and play, but play as well as he did. Sanchez's first 6 at-bats of the postseason were all hits before the final 2 today ended up being outs. And Tyrell Berry pitched a great game as well. 6 innings of 2-run ball. The Dodgers with only 4 hits. They nearly had the same amount of errors as they did hits. So overall, a great showing here offensively and by the pitching. Out hitting them 13-4 is more often than not going to result in wins. And with that, we take a 2-1 series lead, and we're going to look to close the door here in Game 4 and hopefully make it back to the NLCS for the 4th time in 5 years. But we've still got to get the job done. Hopefully we can do it on the road in Game 4 to make the Dodger fans sad, because that'd be kind of funny. So obviously Jesus Sanchez is good enough to play. It looks like he'll be able to play through the rest of the series. Edward Cabrera is also healthy. We're not going to have him pitch in Game 4. He'll pitch in our next game, whether that's Game 5 against the Dodgers or preferably Game 1 of the NLCS. We're going to give Geronimo Gonzalez here the start over Casey Mize. I feel like Gonzalez has just been, well, better. This is his first career postseason outing, so because of that, we're going to give him a pretty short leash, and if things kind of go off the rails, Casey Mize will be ready and available in the bullpen to be used. So we're going to be cautious with how we use the 2 pitchers, but with the year that Gonzalez had, winning the National League Rookie of the Year, I think he's ready to be put onto the big stage here as he looks to help the Marlins close out the NLDS and make it back to the NLCS after not getting there last year. The offense has performed really well. The pitching has had its ups and downs, but for the most part has been pretty good as the Dodgers hand their season into the right arm of Claudio Ramirez, who pitched in the wild card round against the Pirates, got a win, going 7 innings, allowing 1 run. And we'll see if he can save the Dodgers season yet again as we mix up the lineup a little bit. James Wood at the top, leading things off today. And we'll see if the Marlins are able to set the tone early here in this first inning. 3 lefties back-to-back-to-back starting things off with Wood, Chisholm, and Landry. It's very advantageous having lefties who hit other lefties really well, and we can hit them next to each other. Melendez, another example, as we end up not getting anything. Bottom 1, Gonzalez, his first postseason inning, retires the side. Good start. Stu with a double. Sanchez with another hit, because that's all he does, gets hits. 2-1, big opportunity for Berry, and he pops out. So we start the inning with 2 runners on. We don't drive anybody in. Luis Rengifo gets on for the Dodgers. He doesn't do anything as we move into the third. Ariel Amador reaches base just to have a double play. Still no score here in the fourth. Landry with a walk. Stu with a single. And we get a triple for MJ Melendez. And the Marlins lead it 2-0. As for Geronimo Gonzalez, he's been great. Runner thrown out there going to third. He's through 4 scoreless, only allowing 2 runs. We're getting plenty of base runners, though. There's Stu. His third hit of the game. Drives one in. It's now 3-0. Bottom 5. The Dodgers get a run with a double by McMahon. He's driven in by Luis Torrens. And we're going to take Gonzalez out of the game now. He's starting to allow more hits. Overall, a really good first career postseason start as Mize allows a walk. And we're going to hop in here. Miguel Vargas hits it well into right, but Sanchez is going to hobble over to it and come down with it. So both teams score in the 5th. It remains a 2-run deficit as the Marlins lead it 3-1, and we move into the 6th inning now. We'll see if we can look to add to our lead. The offense started slow, but they've been really good over the last couple of innings. John Cook is in the game, a 36-year-old lefty who just made his debut this season, and he gets through the inning. Bottom 6, Mize is going to pitch a little while as Kelenic is caught stealing. Into the 7th now. Justin Bruhill into the game for the Dodgers as he allows a single but nothing more. We're going to take Casey Mize out after an inning and 2/3. He'll be replaced by Taylor Hearn, who starts with Rengifo, the lefty masher who strikes out. McMahon strikes out. Lane Thomas, though, reaches base. Kent does, and he drives him in. So it's 3-2. We're going to take Hearn out of the game, replace him with Camilo Duvall. 2 runners on the corners, 2 outs. What a gigantic at-bat upcoming here for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have such a great opportunity to put themselves back into this series. And Vargas singles into center. This game is tied. So Miguel Vargas comes up clutch. The Dodgers get 2 here in the 7th. We're knotted up at 3, and they could be looking for more. Guess who's up? It's O'Neal Cruz, who pops this one up. James Wood is under it. Should be able to make the play. And he will, but the Dodgers get 2. They tie it at 3, and things just got real interesting as we move into the 8th inning. So the Dodgers are going to make a pitching change. Alex Vesia is going to come into the game. Along with all the former Marlins here, they have a lot of guys who were on our team in the Guardians franchise last year, with guys like Vesia, Nick Sandlin. Eli Morgan was on that team for a short time. Luis Rengifo, I think, was in our farm system for a little bit as well. So Vesia is going to retire the side here in the 8th as Kevin Alcantara, another guy who was in the farm system during the Guardian series, grounds out to second. And so Vesia gets through the inning pretty easily. Speak of the devil, another guy from the Guardian series, Camilo Duvall. How many of these guys are we going to find? He gets Jared Kelenic to check his swing. Luis Rengifo now goes down looking on the cutter, and Duvall gets through the 8th as it remains tied at 3 going into the 9th. Can either team get what would be their biggest offensive play of the year, or are we headed to extras? Vidal Brujan up for the Marlins, and he puts this one on the ground with 2 away. O'Neal Cruz, throw to first, is in time. So Vesia gets through the inning, and now the Dodgers get an opportunity to walk the game off here in the bottom of the 9th. Emmanuel Clase is going to come in the game. Again, not a save opportunity, but we want to bring our best reliever in, even though his first postseason outing was not a particularly good one, allowing the home run to O'Neal Cruz in the Game 2 loss as he strikes out Ryan McMahon. Now it's the Lane train. With a dribbler, Melendez looks to make the play, and he does! So Lane Thomas is out, and through 9, we do not have a winner here in the elimination Game 4 as we go to the 10th. Eli Morgan is into the game for the Dodgers. 4 scoreless innings for him so far in the postseason. He'll face off against James Wood now. 1-2. Got him looking. That pitch was super high, but with Wood being like 6'7", I mean, that'll happen. Woody Landry now. Count is full with 2 away. And Woody will strike out. So Morgan gets through the inning. The Marlins offense has gotten nothing going over the last 4 or 5 innings as we go bottom 10. Clase still in. Speaking of Guardians franchise players, of course, as he gets O'Neal Cruz to go down looking, and we move into the 11th. Isaac Stu leads things off. Grounds it to third. McMahon, what a play. Can he make the throw in time? He does! Ryan McMahon with an incredible defensive snag. Kevin Alcantara now up for the Marlins. 2-2, 2 away. Bloops it into right, and it is caught. So the Dodgers get out of the inning. The Marlins have not gotten a base runner in at least 4 innings. The offense, in the biggest moment of the year, has gone silent. Bottom 11, Joe Shearer is into the game. 2 2/3 scoreless innings so far in the postseason as Kelenic rips a single into right, gloved by Sanchez, another Guardian franchise player. And so the Dodgers start the inning with a runner aboard for James Outman. He's going to lay bunt, trying to get the runner over to second. That's the pinch runner, Pedro Leon, and it ends up being a success. He's now in scoring position. Full count for Rengifo. Lines it to first. Woody will make the play, and now the Dodgers are going to need a base hit if they want to drive Leon in. McMahon, ooh, that was a close one. High fastball. Looked like it might have just barely grazed the strike zone. It will be called a ball. McMahon down the line and foul. Man, he could have called game there. That was right there, but it just goes foul. Full count again. 3-2. Swing and a miss on the fastball. We're going to the 12th. Shearer gets out of the inning. Into the game for the Dodgers will be Nick Sandlin. 1 2/3 scoreless postseason innings so far. The Marlins looking to change that, as that'll bring up Vidal Brujan. 1-2. Ooh, that was clearly a strike, but Brujan ends up getting the call. Full count now. 3-2. That was clearly not a strike, but they call it. I guess that's a ball don't lie situation. It should have been a strikeout all along, but still, in a vacuum, that was the wrong call. Bottom 12, Shearer will stay in the game. He'll face off against the catcher, Luis Torrens, who strikes out looking on the slider. Good start there for Shearer. Lane Thomas now on the ground, base hit. And the Dodgers get a runner aboard here. Can they finally get the win here in the bottom of the 12th? With one away, it's the first baseman, Herbert Kent. Lines it to third. Berry snags it for the second out. And it looks like Joe Shearer is making his way through another inning. He'll face off against Miguel Vargas with a swing and a drive into left center field. This series is going to 5. The Dodgers walk it off with a 2-run homer by Miguel Vargas, his first home run of the postseason, and it could not have come at a better time as the Dodgers win it 5-3, and that means we're going 5. Big swing for Miguel Vargas here in the 12th inning. There was no semblance of offense from either team really since the 7th, and it's the Dodgers who strike first. Our offense, I think, is the reason why we lost. In the 5 innings that we played, 0 base runners. Not a single one since the start of the 8th inning. The pitching wasn't perfect, but I don't think they are to blame. The offense had a chance to win the game on numerous occasions, and they did not. Jesus Sanchez, by the way, is now fully healthy, even though he's been playing like he has. The other 3 series have already wrapped up. The Cubs are awaiting the winner for the NLCS, while the Rangers are going up against the Red Sox. But all we can really focus on right now is ourselves, and in a win-or-go-home game, there's a lot at stake. We've played in a number of elimination games throughout this series, and we've had mixed results. There's been a commonality in pretty much all of those games, though. Brian De La Cruz has gone deep. Unfortunately, with his injury, we don't have our get-out-of-jail-free card when all we've got on the Monopoly map is Oriental Avenue. No Brian De La Cruz today with his injury, which means no guaranteed home run at some point during the game, which kind of sucks. That means everybody else is going to have to be especially awake, especially coming off of the offensive disaster class that was the end of Game 4. Edward Cabrera is back healthy, getting the start today. Only pitched 1 inning in Game 1 after suffering an injury, allowing a home run to Shohei Ohtani. The one good thing about the injury, though, is that his arm should be 100% good to go without really any limitations today, as he gets a 1-2-3 inning to start, forcing an Oneil Cruz pop-out. Getting the start for the Dodgers will be Ryan Pepio. The Dodgers will use their entire 5-man rotation in this series, with Pepio, of course, getting the Game 5 start, coming off a solid performance in his first playoff game against Pittsburgh. MJ Melendez to short. Oneil Cruz bobbles it. Throw to first is not in time. And E6 against Oneil Cruz, who's always been a very inconsistent defender, to put it nicely. He's really improved in that area this season, but is called for the error. Woody Landry, base hit into the opposite field. And now there's 2 early runners for Miami and a big opportunity to get some runs early. Got to set the tone. Isaac Stu behind 1-2, and he strikes out on the fastball. Stu's made some big hits in elimination games before, as has Jesus Sanchez, who hits this ball high and deep into center, but it looks like Outman's under it. He will make the play. The Marlins get 2 runners fairly early, but are unable to do anything with them, as nobody scores in the first, and we move into the second. Jarred Kelenic leads off for the Dodgers, swings and misses at the circle chain. Cabrera's first punch out of the game. James Outman now, 2-2, up the middle, base hit, and the Dodgers get their first base runner of the night. Took them a little while. They've got a lot scratched out for them against Elimination Game Eddie. He strikes out Ryan McMahon, and the Marlins get through the inning without too much trouble, only allowing 1 hit. Let's move into the bottom of the second inning now. Jacob Berry up with a full count and 2 away. And he's going to hit this one into left. Is it going to drop? Yes, it does. Base hit for Berry, a blooper, but a base hit nonetheless. Runner aboard here, and that'll bring up Vidal Brujan. The Marlins have rotated that 9 spot in the order, but with Brujan being the veteran, they're going to go to him today as he grounds out to first, and Kent makes the play pretty easily. Still no score as we move into the third. Full count here for the Lane train. Lane Thomas, who is going to chugga-choo-choo back to the dugout. He goes down looking. Herbert Kent, 2-2. Sharp liner to short. Chisholm gets it off the bounce. Throw to first is in time. 3 scoreless innings for Cabrera, who's only allowed 1 base runner so far. Looking dominant as expected. Bottom 3, Jazz Chisholm swings and misses. We certainly expected a big game out of Cabrera. Ryan Pepio, though, I'm not sure we saw this coming, but he's looked fantastic. He does allow a walk here to MJ Melendez, who reaches base with 1 away. That'll bring up Woody Landry, who's been quietly really good in this series against the Dodgers, and he gets plunked. Charge the mound. Charge the mound. He's not going to charge the mound, but he is on base. 2 on, 2 away for Jesus Sanchez. Same situation he had last at bat, and it looks like the same result. A solidly hit fly ball, but it will be caught in the outfield, this time out in right by Thomas. Still no score. Moving into the fourth. Miguel Vargas up for the Dodgers, and he goes down looking on the circle change. What a filthy pitch as it squeaks to the outside, but still in the zone. O'Neal Cruz now crushes it into right field. This one is gone, and it's the Los Angeles Dodgers who score first. They lead it 1-0. O'Neal Cruz has homered in all 3 games on the road in Miami, and so the Dodgers are the first ones to score here in the top of the 4th inning. Jarred Kelenic strikes out on the fastball. Good rebound there by Cabrera, his 5th K of the day. He will now go up against Shohei Ohtani. Is it showtime? Doesn't look like it, as he pops it near foul territory and left, and Kevin Alcantara is there to come down with it. The Dodgers, though, on the board with a homer by O'Neal Cruz as we go bottom 4. Alcantara hit sharply down the line, scooped into the glove of Herbert Kent. Good defense there by the Dodgers. James Wood now up for Miami. 2-2. Swing and a miss on the high fastball. Ryan Pepio is continuing a masterful performance today as he now faces off against Jacob Berry. And he puts this one on the ground. Should be made it short, and it will. 4 scoreless for Pepio, remains 1-0. Hopefully the home run allowed by Edward Cabrera does not appear to be a sign of things to come, as James Outman strikes out. That's his 6th of the game. McMahon up the middle, deflects off of Cabrera's foot, legs, something. It'll go for a base hit. Cabrera's a little bit shaken up, but he's a tough cookie. He knows how important this game is, and he knows how much his team needs him. So he's going to stick it out. Love seeing these guys play through injuries, showing off their grit, as we saw with Jesus Sanchez earlier today. And Cabrera gets out of the inning with a Lane Thomas line out into left, caught by Alcantara. Still 1-0. The offense has got to wake up. It's been 9 innings that we've played since we hopped into the last game, and we have 0 runs and 2 hits in that stretch as Brujan gets plunked. Pepio's now hit 2 batters today as he's going for the legs. Jazz Chisholm. Ooh, nice pitch. Chisholm was looking for the walk, but instead he goes down looking, and then the Dodgers are going to make a pitching change. Carlos Hernandez is in the game. I have no reasonable explanation for this. This is literally pulling Blake Snell out of the World Series 10 years later. I don't get it at all. Pepio was shoving, and sure enough, Hernandez starts his outing by allowing a walk to Melendez. 2 on, One away. That's going to bring up Woody Landry, who's already reached base twice today. One of the lone bright spots on offense. Up the middle, base hit. The outfield was playing deep, so they're going to send the runner. The other runner, Melendez, goes back to second. But the Marlins tie it with an RBI single for Woody Landry, and it's 1-0. Big swing for Woody to put the Marlins on the board. That'll bring up Isaac Stu now. 2-2 count, and Stu hits it sharply into right. We're going to hold the runners because that ball was hit so hard, and the outfield was playing a little bit more in. So the bases are loaded, which means congratulations, Dodgers. The inning's going to be over. It'll remain 1-1. Or will it? Jesus Sanchez hits it high and deep into center. At the track, at the wall, it's caught. You really thought we were going to hit a grand slam in an elimination playoff game? Think again. It is a successful at-bat, though. We drive in Melendez off the sacrifice fly and take the lead 2-1. So it's still a good at-bat for Sanchez, but you really thought we were going to do that with the bases loaded? Really? Alcantara grounds it to second, flips it over to short. O'Neill Cruz tags the base. Good inning, though, for the Marlins. They get 2 with an RBI single by Woody Landry and a sacrifice fly for Jesus Sanchez as we move into the 6th. Edward Cabrera still in the game. Sharp grounder to third from Kent. Berry going to be a close play. Actually, it really wasn't close. Throw to first in time. Good defense there at the hot corner by Berry. 2 away now for O'Neill Cruz. Up the middle. He rips a single. Cabrera's starting to get tired. Could this be the end of the road for him? Or do the Marlins keep him in for another inning, assuming he gets out of it here? Jared Kelenic. 2-2. Did he go around? Umpire says no. I thought he did in real time. Now 3-2. Pitch on the way. And that one's inside. It was a strike all the way. I think that's a bad call. But Kelenic draws the walk. And so there's 2 on now. 2-2 for Ohtani. Swing and a miss. He didn't really swing. He check swinged. But there you go. Cabrera gets out of the inning. 6 frames of 1-run ball for elimination game Eddie. He will not return for the 7th inning. He was starting to slow down and learning from past mistakes. We're going to take him out. I always like to put the ball in the hand, or I guess the arm of our Cy Young pitcher, but he's over 120. We've got to be smart, and we're going to take him out of the game. Bottom 6. Carlos Hernandez is still in as James Wood hits this one down the opposite field line and fair into the left field corner, and he is in for a leadoff double. Quick start for the Marlins as they open up the inning with a runner in scoring position looking to add to the lead. Full count now here for Jacob Berry, 1 for 2 already today, and he strikes out on the high fastball. Big pitch there by Carlos Hernandez for the first out. That'll bring up Vidal Brujan, who got plunked on the kneecaps in his last at-bat. The all 1-2 Dan Campbell. Up the middle, over the glove of Cruz for a single. Wood will score with ease. An RBI single for Vidal Brujan, and it's 3-1 in favor of the Miami Marlins. That'll bring up Jazz Chisholm now, back to the top of the order with a runner on first and 1 away. Chisholm, sharp liner into the gap. That could go for extra bases and could score the run. Brujan's going to hold up at third with 1 out. We're going to try to be safe here, and with all the momentum we have on offense, we feel like that one of our next couple batters is going to get another hit, or maybe get hit. As Melendez nearly got plunked, he would then be out. That'll bring up Woody Landry, who is intentionally walked. So that's going to set up a force out at all bases, and the Dodgers don't have to face Woody. Instead, it's Isaac Stu who strikes out. The Marlins leave him loaded again. No surprise. They do add another run, though, with a single by Vidal Brujan. Hopefully leaving the bases loaded twice isn't going to come back to bite us, though. Replacing Edward Cabrera will be the lefty Taylor Hearn, who's coming off a not-so-good performance previously. Dodgers have a lot of lefties due up. That starts with Altman. Going to be a close play on the bunt, and he's safe at first. Great defensive play by Jacob Berry, but the throw was just not in time, or was it? The Marlins figure they're going to lose their challenge soon anyway, so they might as well use it now. This is going to be as close of a play as we can take a look at. And as we review this play, it looks like right there. Foot's on the bag before it's in Woody Landry's glove, so the play is going to stand. An infield single off the bunt, and McMahon's going to look to drive him in. This one goes into the right field corner. Altman rounds third, heads home. Throw to the plate's going to be close. It's not in time. An RBI double for Ryan McMahon, and the Dodgers are back in it. 3-2. Runner in scoring position. Nobody out for Cartaya, who strikes out. Big opportunity for the Dodgers to capitalize, and they do. Lane Thomas into right. We're tied at 3. So right when the Marlins were getting all that momentum, the Dodgers got a couple of big hits. Right when Edward Cabrera comes out of the game, everything falls apart. Because, of course, Taylor Hearn's going to be yanked. He'll be replaced by Camilo Duvall. The Marlins trust Duvall here, the all-star. He's been around the block as he faces off against Herbert Kent. He hits this one high and deep and a right at the track, at the wall. It's gone! 2-run shot for Kent. His 3rd of the postseason. And the Dodgers lead it 5-3. So LA out of nowhere scores 4 here in the 7th. They were just down by 2. Now they're up by 2. Right when Cabrera's out of the game, things get bad, and they will now get even worse. Jacob Berry not only misses the throw, but that throw wasn't even close. That ball was like 10 feet over Woody Landry's glove. So the runner makes it to second as O'Neal Cruz strikes out, and Jared Kelenic does as well. The inning is over. Thank you, Lord. That was bad. The Marlins allow 4, and all of a sudden, the Dodgers are in the driver's seat. We trail by 2 with our season on the line. Justin Bruhill is into the game for LA. He has not allowed a run so far in the postseason. We've got to change that here, and it starts with Kevin Alcantara into the gap. That one's going to drop and should go for extra bases. He is into second, sliding safely with a double. And the Marlins got a runner in scoring position with 1 away. James Wood has been mashing lefties all year. Now's the time for a big hit, and he gets it. Single into center. Alcantara scores as the throw is off by Outman, and the Marlins make it 5-4. There was no offense to speak of early in this game. Now both teams are mashing the ball. That'll bring up the third baseman, Jacob Berry, who had the big error earlier. And Berry hits this one high and deep into center. At the track, at the wall. It's gone! Jacob Berry has the Marlins on top 6-5. Way to make up for the error with the biggest swing of the year and possibly of his entire career. Jacob Berry with a 2-run shot in the 7th to put the Marlins back on top. The top of the 7th inning was a disaster. We allow 4 runs, but the offense comes up clutch and immediately gets 3 in the bottom half of the inning to take the lead back. 423 feet from Berry. That's going to lead to a pitching change as John Cook is into the game for LA. I wonder how it feels to be a 36-year-old who, again, just made his big league debut this year, because he's an older guy. He's probably been around the minors for a while, but he hasn't really seen a full taste of postseason MLB baseball until obviously now. He will start his outing by allowing another hit, a single for Vidal Brujan. That'll bring up Jazz Chisholm. Draws a walk. There's still only 1 out, by the way. The Marlins are continuing to stockpile base runners. They're not satisfied with this lead. They're looking for more, and they might get more. Single in the left for Melendez. Everybody holds. Oh, my Lord. That means the bases are loaded. Christ. That brings up Woody Landry. 2-2 pitch. Landry skies this one high and deep into right center. At the track. At the wall. It's caught. Did you really think we were going to hit a grand slam in an elimination game? No. But, again, successful at bat. Drives in a run off the sacrifice, and it's 7-5. That'll bring up Isaac Stu. With runners on the corners, he grounds it to short. Cruz is going to throw this one to first. Quite the 7th inning, though. The Dodgers score 4. The Marlins get 4 back, and it remains a 2-run Miami lead going into the 8th inning. Well, that was a lot of fun. Duvall staying in the game. They'll face off against Shohei Ohtani, who singles to start the inning. So the Dodgers get an early base runner here. Tying run is going to be up at the plate. Ohtani obviously has got some great speed, as Outman lines it to second, caught by Vidal Brujan for the first out of the inning. Ryan McMahon, he has 2 hits today, but he goes down on the high cutter. Great pitch by Duvall, really rebounding after allowing the homer earlier as he strikes out Diego Cartaya. 7-5, still going into the bottom of the 8th. The lefty, Alex Vesia, is into the game for the Dodgers. LA cannot afford to allow any more runs. They're already going to need at least 2 in the 9th. They cannot let the Marlins add to that lead. We'll start things off with Jesus Sanchez, who's been great in this series. He's 0 for 3 today, but I'm going to give him a pass with playing through the injury. He will draw a walk here, and so he will reach base. That'll bring up James Wood, who had a big hit to start the 7th inning rally in his last at-bat. He draws a walk as well. The SC is having a hard time finding the strike zone, and that'll bring up Jacob Berry, who had the home run in his last at-bat. Puts this one on the ground. Vargas to Cruz to Kent. 4-6-3 double play. The lead remains at 2 as we go into the 9th inning. Emmanuel Clase is in for the save. He's pitched twice so far, neither of which were save opportunities, but he will here. We'll start with Lane Thomas. 9-1-2 hitters due up as Thomas draws a walk. So LA opens up the inning with a runner. Tying run is up. That's going to be the first baseman, Herbert Kent. He puts it on the ground. Jazz Chisholm to Brujan over to first, but the throw is off by Brujan. Oh man, that could be a catastrophic mistake. So there's still a runner on for Vargas. Bloops it into right. Fair ball, base hit. 2 runners on the corners now. The Dodgers are not leaving this game without a fight. Runners on the corners, tying runs at first. Potential winning run is up here in an elimination postseason game in the 9th inning. And it's O'Neal Cruz who's up, one of the best hitters in baseball, and he fouls it off. We're going to play through the whole at-bat here, starting at a 2-2 count. The biggest at-bat of the year. Clase looking to get him up and away on the cutter. And that's strike 3. Cruz swings and misses, and the Dodgers season comes down to Jarred Kelenic. 0 for 3 today. Count is full at 3-2. The runner on first is going to be going. So we'll see what Clase looks to do here. The 3-2. And Kelenic fouls it back. Keeps the at-bat, the game, and the Dodgers season alive. Following 3-2 pitch. Fouls it back again. Looking to get him on the high cutter. But Kelenic is able to battle. 3-2 once more. Swinging a miss. It's over. The Marlins are going back to the NLCS for a 4th time in 5 years. And man, it was not always pretty. This NLDS was a roller coaster. From having 3 of our key players get hurt, including Brian De La Cruz, the MVP of the National League, out for the rest of the playoffs, to what was a wild game here in Game 5. The Dodgers with 4 in the 7th inning, the Marlins with 4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. And other than that big stretch for the Dodgers, their offense was pretty unimpressive. Edward Cabrera shut them down for the most part, other than the big run they had to take the lead. But their lead was short-lived. Offense deserves a ton of credit for coming up clutch. Woody Landry, 5 plate appearances. He had 2 hits, a walk, a hit by pitch, a sac fly, and 2 RBIs. Wood with 2 hits. Brujan was big. Jacob Berry, of course, who had the 2-run homer in the 7th inning. And then elimination game Eddie, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Got a little bit shaky after we took him out of the game, but luckily we prevail. And we're now going to play against the Cubs in the NLCS. I've lost track of the amount of times we played against the Cubs in the postseason. It's got to be at least 4 at this point. We've had some battles with the Cubs. I'm pretty sure we've beaten them every time. So the Cubs kind of are out for vengeance. And we're going to have a target on our back going into the NLCS, which is going to be in the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.